And as we were looking at that live footage, not only was the rain coming down, but now you start to see this really small purple box, top left corner of your screen. That is a tornado warning that has just been issued. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like on radar. I remember earlier, about 5-10 minutes ago, when I was saying there were two cells that I was watching very closely. This was one of them. The number of lightning strikes that have gone up with this, as well as, again, the possibility of some rotation. So let me go ahead and show you what we have with the warning, but more importantly, I want to get a track on this as a tornado warning has been issued for portions of Michiana. That does include Michigan City. The other thing that's very concerning about this is that tornado warning does intersect parts of 94 during the rush hour, not just once, but also back up here almost 2 times where we're seeing, again, heavy traffic during that evening commute. So again, Martin, if you want to go ahead and get a good look at what's going on velocity, but also how long this warning is going to be in effect. And right now I'm going to put a track on here. So this is moving to the north and to the northeast. Overall, expecting it to be relatively short-lived, but there is, again, enough evidence that we could be seeing a tornado on the ground. In the next 29 minutes into Michigan City. The other thing, Martin, that I need you to do, I need you to keep an eye up on that Michigan City cam, because what I'm seeing right now is clearing, that we've cleared it out. Thank you. So there's a look at what we have. We got a Michigan City cam where the tornado warning has been issued. If you want to zoom around, Martin, and get a better idea of kind of what we are seeing, based on what I was seeing with the radar, this is going to be more to the right of that camera, or more to the north and to the northeast. So I want to keep this up here. You got Michigan City, Michiana Shores in the next hour or so. Based on what I'm seeing in the radar, there is a lot of lightning, there's a lot of rain in this system, which means it is obviously going to be rain wrapped. And it's not one of those situations where we can go out and see a tornado. But we have a camera, a live camera in Michigan City. If you want to flip back over to that live camera, if we're going to see any kind of tornado or lowering, there it is on your screen right there, off in the distance, a lowering. My guess is that is the rotation that we are concerned about regarding this tornado warning that is on your screen. So one of the things we do here in the First Alert Weather Center is make sure that we're using all the tools at our disposal to keep an eye on the threat. So Martin, if you want to go ahead and check out the velocity, leave that there, and give me some velocity data, if you would mind, regarding the circulation. So again, there's a look at the radar. And they're going to be using max 2 on that one, Martin. And again, this is all going to be moving up to the north and to the northeast. So they zoom in a little bit closer. That circulation that you just saw, that lowering, my guess is it's just offshore, just off of Michigan City, moving to the north and to the northeast. Tornado warning is going to be in effect for another 20 minutes. And this is radar indicated. So yeah, okay, actually that couplet, as I pop back up, is back down here towards the east and to the south, which means since this is delayed, what you just saw on your live screen, live cam with that Michigan City cam, that was the lowering that we had on our live cam. Let's go back over to the live cam and keep an eye on that. This is one of those rare situations of right in front of your screen is the tornado warned part of the storm. Thankfully, that is out over Lake Michigan. One of the ways that you do, that we track here in the First Alert Weather Center is using, thank you, now we're up here, using all of these components. I'm sitting here on this image because it's out over Lake Michigan, but there's no doubt in my mind, based on the velocity data you saw there, the delay that we have with the radar, that is your circulation. This is that rotation. What are you seeing, Martin? Is your mic open? Your mic?
Pointing out the exact same thing you're looking at. You can see it's starting to try. It might be a little bit of a scud there, but you're pointing at. But it looks like it's trying to reach down a little bit. We could end up having this over the lake. Trying at least, to bring itself down just a little bit. You've been pointing out there's that lowering right there, but the circulation, camera, all this matches up perfectly.
Exactly. And with Doppler radar, with this product, remember that we have to wait 2 or 3 minutes, meaning this, as live as it could be, it is still about 2 to 3 minutes, which means by the time we look at that live cam there, it is down through Lake Michigan. So again, if you're going to have a tornado warning, this is kind of the best case scenario. It's not that we're sitting here looking at radar. You are looking at the tornado warning, and you're not going to get this preparedness very often, where we can actually use our cameras to say, there's a tornado warning. We're going to continue to track this moving off to the east. And the camera that we have in place, we can move that a little bit to the right and follow this along. Let's go back over. I believe you got, what is that, Max 2? If you want to go ahead and pull up Max 2, the other source. The cities, very important at this point. A tornado warning, again, issued into 4:45. You're on Max 1? What are you on? Max?
Right, this one's on 2. The other, I have the track on Max 1.
You have a track on Max 1. Let's get over to Max 1. That's going to be Wheezy 1, so we can get an idea exactly where this is tracking and those that need to prepare. Long Beach, the Michiana Shores, the Grand Beach, they've just extended the tornado warning deep into parts of Berrien and I think eventually Cass County as this moves off to the north and to the northeast. So zoom this back out and get the latest track on there, Martin, if you can, and we can flip back over to our live cam. So let's go over to the live cam and show you kind of what we're seeing. So again, a unique opportunity in that the tornado warning that you're seeing on your screen is also on our screen, and you're looking at it right there. So that velocity data is doing what it needs to do, but we're also keeping an eye. Let me move this over to the right. So I'm actually moving that camera, pointing it exactly where that rotation is located. Okay, Martin, over on Max 1, Wheezy 1.
I'll get the track up in just a second.
If you want to go ahead and throw the track up on there.
Did you happen to see the speed that this system was moving in just real quick?
Yeah. So what we have with this is that obviously you got Lake Michigan kind of cuts back up here towards the north, and topography is going to pull this couplet, this circulation, while it's over land or water right now, is most likely going to come back over land, which you can kind of see off in the distance there. That's why that tornado warning, it was a sliver, has been extended deeper into portions of Michigan. So this is going to move into the northeast, and that is your couplet right there. It's not very often.
You have your track up on Wheezy 1 now.
Say it again?
You have your track up on Wheezy 1 now.
Beautiful, thank you. Okay, so 4:30, your city is on the list. Go ahead and get into your safe place. This is the same cell that we were looking at when we first started at 4:05 or so. I said, we're keeping a close eye on this one because of the way the atmosphere is interacting with it, anticipating a little bit more rotation with this storm. And that is what we got. So again, we're keeping an eye on this. This is moving to the north and to the northeast. New Buffalo, 10 minutes. Three Oaks, 18 minutes. This is radar indicated tornado. Martin.
They also just bumped up with the latest warning that went into Berrien and LaPorte County. This is not a confirmation of said hail size, but this does say the tag on the actual tornado warning says the possibility of up to 2-inch hail.
Okay.
And I believe that is close to baseball-sized hail. So definitely could also see not just a tornado with this, but also some very large hail.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind is we're going to focus on the tornado warning. Your hail core is going to be out ahead of the warning. So with that tracker, let's go back over to our other radar source, get those cities back on here. So New Buffalo in 9 minutes, shave about 5 minutes off of that. That's when the hail will come. Start with the hail, and then the tornado part of the system, if it is on the ground, if there is one on the ground, that is going to come next. So Three Oaks, 17 minutes, and then down here towards Benton Harbor, about 46 minutes, as this is going to kind of follow back up here to the north and to the northeast. Mark, what do you got?
We actually just had confirmation of hail 1 minute ago in Michigan City. Just wanted to let you know they actually have viewers sending in reports and photos of it as well.
We don't have a size, but I can only imagine when Josh looked up and saw what he saw on the Michigan City cam, that was not just rain, that was rain and hail, which again, first alerted us to this circulation. So let me go ahead and show you exactly what we're seeing with our eyes. That's a lowering. And Martin, you've done this long enough to know that when it comes to velocity data and what we're seeing, that is the lowering here. If we keep going to the right, with this, you'll start to see not only the rain, but the hail core as well. That is going to be out ahead of this main system, out ahead of that main circulation. So you're kind of starting to see it back over here towards the right with another, it looks like a little bit of lowering in here as well. So again, that's our live cam. There's no better way to get the latest data and the latest way for you to prepare than actually being able to see the tornado warned storm on one of our first alert weather cameras. Let's go back over to Wheezy 1. I want to keep the cities on the screen. So New Buffalo, 8 minutes. Three Oaks, 15 minutes. Time now about 4:33. And that's also going to be at Richmond about 27 minutes, a little bit farther down the line of the grand scale. And when we look at the entire thing as a whole, doesn't quite get into Berrien and Cass County, but doesn't quite get into Cass County, but we are right on the edge in regards to that tornado-warned storm that's moving to the north and to the northeast. Really quickly, Martin, if you can, move this map down to the south, because while we have that tornado-warned storm here, there is another stronger storm, I shouldn't say stronger, but there's another strong storm approaching parts of South Bend, parts of Granger, Elkhart, Osceola, Lakeville. This is all going to be moving to the north and to the northeast as well. And you put the lightning back up on here. Let me go ahead and put this into motion. You see how it's moving to the north, but then you also get kind of this little bit of a push back here to the north. That's that broad spin that I was concerned about that really started to tighten up back towards Lake Michigan. And based on what we were seeing in the data, velocity data, that tornado-warned storm, this is all moving to the north and to the northeast. I can only imagine if we go ahead and take a look at, well, we have the, can we go to the live cam? Yeah, let's go to the live cam and get a view of exactly what we were seeing. Clearing out here towards the east, you got the rain, and then also, you see how it's kind of white right here? So that is going to be your hail core, at least based on what I'm kind of seeing on the radar, as well as what's on the screen. So you got the rain, the clearing, then the hail. If you come a little bit closer, kind of see right in here, potentially something that's scud out ahead of it, so it's tough to see. But there's no doubt that we have not only some rain, and you got that rain shield, but also some hail embedded in there as well. So let's go ahead and zoom this camera all the way back out, get that wider picture. I feel like my eyes are playing tricks on me with some of these shadows that we're seeing. But a little bit wider perspective as we go. Take a look. This is our Michigan City cam. And the tornado warning is for Michigan City, moving to the north and to the northeast. Let's go back to Wheezy 1 and give you the wider perspective. There we go. Excellent. Good. So again, and Martin, if you want to go ahead and chime in, the details on this tornado warning, just to revisit. I think National Weather Service just updated the latest warning, if you want to go over some of those details.
Yeah, so actually they just now canceled out parts of LaPorte County. The original tornado warning has now been canceled, but they still have the additional one that they did added that is significantly larger that we were showing earlier. And as of right now, the latest reports from this one that does include Berrien and LaPorte counties, they right now still watching for the possibility of this tornado. We've obviously been seeing the live camera that we have. We're looking at that rotation in this storm, still mostly over the lake, but it doesn't mean it can't try to make its way back onto land where it could possibly invigorate itself as a tornado. But also the possibility of hail is still with it as well. So it's something you really want to be paying close attention to. Don't forget that even if you're not inside that direct path of the tornado, this entire cell could still bring some heavy rain, and of course that hail possibility is going to be there. Some possibilities of up to 2-inch hail. That's close to a baseball-sized hail. That is hail that can easily damage houses, roofs, cars, and yourself as well. So make sure to get inside if you are in this path to be extra careful. You can see behind me, there's that lowering right there. This is that lowering. If there would be a tornado here, which we can't confirm anything right now, if there would be, it would be right around this area, right where the actual clouds are the lowest. You can see that wall, we call that the wall cloud, moving through across with this next system. So things are starting to shape out as we go to the next several minutes. We can see that we still have this for Berrien and LaPorte counties as of right now, but keeping a close eye on it as we send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht. He's going to have the latest for you. He's got showing the velocity with this system right now.
Yeah, and typically I wouldn't show velocity unless I had some good news to share with you. Otherwise, we'd get right back to the storm track. But based on what I'm seeing with the live cam combined with the trend with the velocity data, remember earlier we had a tight couplet. We had that rotation, that lowering over Lake Michigan. Since then, it looks like we got two different kind of boundaries that have come together, and I wouldn't say it's washed out, but the couplet isn't nearly as defined now as what it was. And you're probably yelling at your TV why they keep droning on about the couplet. Well, that is the start of a tornado, and that is what you warned. So that is what we were looking for. Now, that being said, come back over to Wheezy 1, and I just want to make sure that we do have a track on this so we can stay prepared if this gets back together, if this reorganizes and we start to see, and there's a lot of lightning strikes within this cell, that you have a chance to prepare. Because one thing that saved lives yesterday in Oklahoma was the ability to prepare, to be first alerted to get into a basement or a safe place if your city is on this list. So 3 minutes, New Buffalo, we've been with you for about 15 minutes. New Buffalo, we got to get into a safe place. Three Oaks, next at 12 minutes. And the other part of this, at Berrien Springs, about 34 minutes, is that initially, all of this out ahead of the main circulation. Frequent lightning strikes, strong gusty winds, hail, as Martin has already confirmed, that there has been hail within this system, as well as heavy rainfall. Yeah, Mark.
So latest thing just came in with the National Weather Service, actually just now checking it out. If you can pull up Wheezy 2 real quick, just so we can show just the warning itself. LaPorte County, you're now out of it. You're not going to be seeing this tornado warning anymore. You can just, make sure to stay extra safe as of right now, but come out of your safe space for right now. Most of the system, the cell itself, has moved its way past, but still looking at Berrien County in that tornado warning. They have dropped off the hail, like Matt was talking about earlier. The couplet has lost a little bit of its intensity and the winds have fallen down. The cell sort of weakening just a little bit. We're not calling off anything yet, but the cell is slowly weakening. That couplet that Matt was talking about is starting to weaken. The hail has dropped down just a little bit. They've now changed the 2-inch tag to 1.5-inch tag. That's still about hen egg sized hailstones, which still can do damage. You can do damage up to around only 1 inch. So we're still sitting a little bit higher than that 1-inch severe criteria. But as of right now, LaPorte County has been taken out of the tornado warning. Berrien County, you're still in it. You could possibly see this continuing into Cass. And Matt's watching over it right now, talking about that track. So what do you have on the latest?
Yeah, I was just going over, because again, we have a live cam in Michigan City. We started this tornado warning off looking at this live cam and seeing the warned cell, the warned portion. So I want to revisit a couple of things that while Martin was going over some very important information, I was got just a half second to kind of analyze what we're seeing here. And the reason why I want to analyze this, because it tells us if there is a tornado on the ground or not. And what we are seeing on this, that based on, in terms of just tornado warnings and cells and supercells, all that fancy term, you got the clearing back here to the right. This, if we were to see a tornado, or based on this tornado warning, that is the area that we would be looking for a tornado. And as I mentioned, got a half second to kind of analyze what was going on, and I do not see a tornado here. That does not mean that there isn't one on the ground. Based on velocity data, based on actual visual evidence, the likelihood of a tornado being on the ground is lower than if we didn't have our first alert weather camera in Michigan City. You come back here towards what would be a little bit to the north, or we'll just say to the left. That's your hail, that's your rain, and your clearings back out here to the east. What we would be looking for is for some tightening in the blank area that would indicate, again, the lowering. But you start to see there's not much there. Martin, you got meteorologist eyes as well. What are you seeing with this?
Well, you can obviously still see that supercell itself, but there is none of that, what we've been talking about, that lowering going all the way down to the ground. Again, we're still seeing plenty of the rainfall coming in Michigan City, but still not seeing any of that as of right now. And I did get a little zoom in earlier, couldn't see anything indicative of that tornado warning. And I actually also checked our debris tracker. Nothing really being shown on that either, which is all good news that we're not really seeing a tornado on the ground at this point in time, but still sitting underneath this severe alert, your first alert weather day, and that tornado warning currently still sitting in Berrien County. Again, LaPorte County, you're not in it anymore. I know you were under that just a few minutes ago, but not anymore. And the hail has fallen off just a little bit. So luckily things are appearing to somewhat get a little better, but you're still sitting underneath that tornado warning with parts of Berrien County. I'm actually going to change this over just to your satellites where you can actually see what's going on your radar with that tornado warning. So taking off the tornado warning really quick, but you can still see that cell. Plenty of lightning with this system right now. It's going to be making its way closer to Berrien Springs. So again, if you're in that, if you actually pull up Wheezy 1 on this really quickly, just so we can actually pull up that track. But again, there's that tornado warning right there, the track moving through, going into Berrien Springs pretty soon. So if your city is on this list right here, make sure you get into that safe area, even if you have 30, 40 minutes. just be extra careful. Make sure to be in that safe space. Have that plan. If you're in this next go, you should be seeing that in Berrien Springs in about 50 or 60 minutes or so. So we're going to take it back to Matt Engelbrecht. He's got the latest on what we've been talking about with this system. Of course, talking more about that current cell. And of course, we're also watching another one closer to South Bend that could end up being a little bit on the stronger side. I'm maybe seeing a lot of lightning with that one right now too. Right, Matt?
Yeah. First alerted you to the potential for some strong, severe thunderstorms moving through for the evening commute. Check out the radar behind me. It's not just that tornado-warned storm in Michigan City. And Martin, if you can, kind of go through some of the reports if we did get anything touched down. We didn't see anything, but that does not mean it didn't happen. But confidence is pretty high that we didn't see much touchdown. And we're not done with the tornado warning either. But I want to show you this system as a whole. You got that tornado-warned cell moving up through Berrien County. And then also, if you're at home and you're not under the tornado warning, you may have started to hear thunder, may have started to see lightning, even some heavier downpours, thinking, well, where is that? Well, we're South Bend, Plymouth, into parts of Elkhart, Osceola. We're going to start to see this rain really increase in intensity, but also to go along with that, there has been a number of lightning strikes as well. This is going to drift more to the north and a little bit to the east as we go through the next couple of hours. So what you're hearing, if you're outside the tornado warning, is either the cell that is over Lake Michigan or working near Lake Michigan. There's another one back towards South Bend and Plymouth, and then also back out here towards the west. This is the main cold front. We get on the other side of it, and we're done with the severe weather. So let me go back, and I just want to go ahead and double check that velocity data. So right in here is where we got that tornado warning that is being issued, and we got that live cam still right on it. Say it again. Okay, this is St. Joe, Michigan, so we're looking out over the lake, and it looked like we had possibility of some hail trying to bounce at the bottom part of your screen. I'd anticipate this with how the cells have been extended to the north. Yeah, that's got to be hail that's bouncing off of our camera there. So again, there's hail with this kind of image. Let's go back over to our Wheezy 1 and show you again where that velocity data is indicating. Okay, go ahead and reset that, and we'll be good right here. So where the green matches the red, obviously that is where that tornado, and there we go. You see something like this, and it is concerning. Martin, get your eyes on here as well. Velocity data showing that starting to tighten up a little bit more with this cell. It was broad, but now it's coming back together. I want to make sure that we get the cities back on here as well and update this to the latest track. So give me a second, I'll clean this up.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah, please.
Have you heard anything out of New Buffalo this summer?
Yes. We've already had 2 reports. Let me actually pull them up really quickly. We've had 2 reports so far of hail, not of tornadoes, but of hail as of right now. We had one that is a trained spotter that was in Michiana Shores over toward LaPorte County, and then there's another one that just came in of 1-inch hail in New Buffalo, which we're currently seeing the hail bouncing off of our camera right now. So we'll take it back to Matt really quick.
Yeah, so what Josh is looking for is whether or not we've had any tornadoes confirmed. We have not.
No.
Okay.
And nothing has been.
Some comments still, but nothing confirmed yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the one thing I'll say about this is that we have the ability that if the National Weather Service, who they issue the tornado warnings, if it goes to a confirmation, you'll see this box change color and it will light up, and that will indicate that to us that there's something a little bit more significant in actual data and observation that there's a tornado on the ground. So yeah, the reports that we have had, not to be confused with tornadoes, the reports we have had are all having to do with hail. The kind of system that we saw would support inch size, possibly 1.5 inch size hail, and all the way back up here towards the north, that is where we're starting to see some of that smaller hail as well. So here's a look at it. So again, that velocity data showing that there is still a decent couplet. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets extended back up here to the north and to the northeast. 3 Oaks, I got 3 minutes. Berrien Springs, it's never too early to prepare. If that says 55 and you think this is never going to get to me, take 10 minutes, ask yourself, where's the safest place in your house? It is going to be inside, as many walls between you and the outside. If you have access to a basement, that is your safe place. And as I've seen over and over, just last night, helmets will save lives. The one thing that in terms of injuries and even deaths when it comes to tornado, it's not the actual wind, it's the debris in and around these tornadoes. And to protect yourself from debris, it's not a bad idea to have a helmet to have a pillow, to have something to protect your head if you're under a tornado warning. And again, 54 minutes, Berrien Springs sounds like a lot of time, but take 10 minutes and think about this now before I'm standing here and I have to say 2 minutes for Berrien Springs. We can all be safe and prepared. So this is, once again, looking out to, this is the St. Joe camera, if I'm not mistaken, and we're looking, looks more out towards the southeast.
Camera's unfortunately blocked to the south, so we can't see perfectly, but this is the closest we can get to where that couplet is pointed dead.
Okay. Yep. All right. Let's go back to Wheezy 1. I know you're showing those cameras. If all we're seeing is rain, make sure that there's something useful there if we do in fact use it. Starting to see the lightning strikes spread out within this tornado warning, but also carry this all the way back up here to the north and to the northeast. The cell continues to stay pretty strong up here to the north. You can see lightning strike right there, and it's not completely unheard of to get couple of different updrafts going, and lightning strikes, whenever they kind of get right around the same area, more centralized, that is an indication of the charges separating and an updraft starting to dominate within a line. So what I'm seeing here is you got one decent strong updraft. That's where we're getting that hail from. But also the one where we had that live cam showing some of the hail, another one right up here to the north. So two dominant updrafts or centralized storms starting to take shape. The yellow box you see here, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. So already kind of priming back up here to the north. Now that's 94, I-94 right here for the potential for a strong, if not severe thunderstorm warning right now, potentially extending this tornado warning out. And Martin, I'm going to ask you again regarding the velocity data. What are you seeing with the last couple of sweeps?
Well, as of right now, we're actually just had it pulled up, and I was going to have Matt talk about it, but I'll talk about it here. Talking, of course, more closely with this next, the cell we've been seeing. Plenty of this lightning. I'll actually take this off because it is plenty of lightning to be seen there, so I do want to at least try to remove that so we can actually get a better view. But you can see this couplet right here. That's what we've been watching right there, just near Three Oaks. It has made its way past, so you're past the main threat, but you're still probably seeing some of that hail and wind. But so stay down for just a little bit. You'll be safe for at least the next couple of minutes if you stay in that safe area. But here's still that tornado warning going until 5:15. So about the next 25 minutes, they'll be seeing this system. So it's making its way closer toward Buchanan, Berrien Springs. But there's that couplet, the latest sweep moving through as of right now. They have dropped off the hail a little bit more, but still, 1.25 inch hail is still very dangerous. We actually just had a picture Josh showed me earlier of pretty sizable hail, closer to almost golf ball, if not a little bit bigger. So make sure to be extra careful if you you still are out right now, which you should absolutely not be at this point in time, but you should be staying in that safe space. So make sure to stay from those windows. Find that safe area for right now.
Michigan
you
City?
Can still see where this green and red, so this is going towards our radar, this is going away. That's that couplet that we're watching. So it's still a little bit what we call linear. You can still see where that line is. If you want to actually see almost a point where that couplet would be, if you want to see that tornado. So as of this moment, we're still not saying anything as of right now when it comes to that tornado. Actually, we'll take a quick look at the debris tracker.
The sweep just came in behind you there.
Oh, new one just came in? Yeah, so it's it's very broad, very linear. The purple is a little bit of clutter, but you can still see where that rotation is, but it's a very broad rotation, not really indicative of a tornado on the ground. So not really going to look at the debris as of this point in time, but still continuing that tornado warning. What do you have latest on the track, Matt?
Yeah, going over kind of where we stand. I want to zoom this out and show you the warnings that are currently active, but also, as Josh just pointed out, one of the images that he was sent, I would say that's easily an inch and a half. Again, it was a picture of two hailstones in a hand. If you don't know how big the hand is, tough to tell how big those hailstones are. But what I wanted to put up here, you got the tornado warning, and we'll look at that track in just a half second. Look at the history of this cell. When we started at 4 o'clock and I said, I'm concerned about this cell right here, that's why. It was producing hail very early on. This is a wind report. You see the little house with the trees, a wind report. And then into LaPorte, we got the hail. And then, of course, we started to pick it up with our first alert weather cam in Michigan City to actually see that circulation. So, again, those are actual storm reports coming in. If I zoom this out a little bit more, you can see the strength of the storm, not only the one we're tracking here, but also what came through parts of south of Chicago. You've seen a lot of hail reports towards here and back up into Milwaukee. So what this says, individual thunderstorms, as I put the track back up, the individual thunderstorms that we're picking out, based on what we're seeing in the radar trends, are capable of, the tornado warning, but also hail, damaging hail. You hit that 1 inch mark. The reason why we go to a severe thunderstorm warning at 1 inch, anything bigger than that, we're talking dents and the potential for injuries if you get hit by an inch-size hailstone coming down from the sky. I want to remind you, say this out loud, if you can't see us, if you're away or you put your phone down to get into your safe place, I want to make sure that we say some of these cities. You got Three Oaks in 3 minutes, Snow in about 35 minutes. Berrien Springs, we're still on the list at 54 minutes. So that would take us to about 5:30 or so, maybe a little bit earlier than that, as we are kind of right on the edge here in Berrien Springs. The other big concern that I've had is not necessarily those that are in their safe place or those that have access to this information. It's our evening commuters that find themselves out on the road. This cell has crossed, as we were talking about, I-94 a couple of times. Now, even if it weakens, this is going to continue to work to the north and to the northeast, and once again, intercept parts of I-94, but also some of these other roadways that could have evening commuters on them, which presents, again, a very dangerous situation, both with the amount of lightning, inch-size hail coming down while you're driving 60 to 65 miles per hour. That's easily a cracked windshield in these kind of environments. Now, I want to take one last thing before I send it back over to Martin. What I'm seeing, you got the tornado warning, you got the track and the city's left side of your screen. But look at how most of the lightning activity is centralized right up here towards the north. What you're going to get is a lot of hail right around where the lightning strikes are occurring, and then down to the south where we had that clearing a little bit ago. That, if there is going to be the potential for any kind of tornado to form, that's the area that you would do it. Martin?
Yeah, so we're still talking more closely about what we're seeing with both of these cells, not just the one that's tornado warm, but also one that's just to the south of South Bend. So we'll talk about both of those first. Of course, got to get to the more important one with this one moving through parts of Berrien County. I'm going to turn on your velocity just so you can see that couplet, well, what the couplet would be. I'll turn off the lightning because Matt's just talked about what it is. But you can still see that clash of the green and the red there. Luckily, it does appear to be remaining pretty broad, so more than likely not seeing a tornado on the ground at this point in time, but still one or two of these radar scans, you can easily see this trying to spin itself back around. And we're talking with the National Weather Service. They're saying that the proximity to the lake is actually keeping this tornado from really forming itself. But if it does try to draw its way away from the lake, it could end up pulling itself together. So it's something they're going to maintain the tornado warning on for a good little bit, though. The hail threat, as Matt was talking about earlier, with that updraft kind of taking itself over, it's kind of lost a little bit of that hail for a lot of it. But again, we're still watching closely on this.
Is your air conditioning ready for the hot weather? Are you sure it's ready? Make sure your AC is ready with 4 Winds Custom Heating and Air Conditioning. Call or visit our website today.